There's been a statement within the gaming industry developers and gamers are constantly saying. That statement is that the gaming industry is oversaturated. Oversaturation within the gaming industry is present with nearly everything within the gaming space, from oversaturation in genres to oversaturation in overused mechanics or simply things like art styles. With so many games continuously coming out, being spat out at a rapid rate, it's difficult to predict where the industry is going next. We see this in terms of genres. There's been a lot of open world games like Ark or Minecraft, and I really do believe that there's too many open world games. Now, a lot of genres are coming back, such as the 3D platformer. It seems to be making a good return, I must say. But another factor that actually makes oversaturation a negative topic is that there are too many games to choose from. This effect is also known as the paradox of choice. And this choice within the gaming industry seems to be really negative for gamers. For example, let's say that there's a Steam summer sale. There's so many games to choose from, so many games. And with the oversaturation of this market space, with so many games, you have no clue which game and which genre you actually want to play and choose. I also talked about art styles previously. Pixel art, while it was very creative when it first came out, in terms of the retro type of gaming, nowadays pixel art is overused, and that's the problem with a lot of indie games, overusing this art style rather than utilizing a different art style. As you can see from what I've stated, oversaturation, it's a big problem within the gaming industry. So now that I'm done with my part and my piece, I'm going to take this over to Turbo. And Turbo's going to talk about laziness.
Okay, so one of the biggest problems in the video game industry is laziness. It's just developers being lazy and companies not investing in things that really matter, such as lazy graphic design, which is present in the modern Call of Duty games that we have seen over the past few years, and Bethesda's new Fallout 4, highly ambitious in quotes. These textures, they're just bad looking. Like, let me just be real with you. They look bad. The performance, for some reason, is trash, even though the textures look like they've been created in 2008. And then one of the other problems that we see in laziness is the poor storytelling. You see in a lot of AAA titles and corporations like Nintendo that they've been milking the same story for the past decade. Oh, the princess is in another castle. It's uninteresting and straight up lazy. And a word of advice for indie developers: you can add interesting and relatable scenarios in the plot, such as modern day social issues. The incorporation of social issues can immerse the player and relate to the plot. And that's not the only thing developers are being lazy on. It's the buggy games and glitches. There shouldn't be any excuse to release a game and pay full price for it when it doesn't even work properly. You shouldn't go out and pay $60 for a AAA game and expect it to be so glitched up, and it just doesn't work. For example, Battlefield 4, when that came out, it was buggy as ever. But after like a whole year full of patches, then it actually decided to be worth that $60 that you just invested in. And you already know about Bethesda. They've had a horrible track record of bugginess and just terrible textures, lag, crashes. It shouldn't be like this. You're paying full price for it, so you should get the full game. You shouldn't have to wait on the developers to fix the game. Then you can play the game. You buy it, then that should be the game. It should just be that. Like, if you look at ID Software and you look at Doom, they actually improved the game even after they shown it off in E3. A lot of developers don't do that for some reason. It actually gets downgraded, especially with other really massive games like Ubisoft with Watch Dogs. The graphics, I don't know what happened to them. It just downgraded like instantly the second you bought the game and you turn it on. The graphics are terrible compared to the ones from E3, such as, and it's not just that. Ubisoft has done it a bunch of times, like in a Far Cry, in Rainbow Six Siege. It's just unexcusable.
Now on to communication. And you know how they say it in the world of business, communication is the most important. And in the video game industry, if you have poor communication to the consumers and to the gamers, well, you're shooting yourself right in the foot. Communication has become a huge problem within the gaming industry. You have AAA developers not listening to players. For example, Take-Two Interactive. On GTA Online, the PC gaming community loves mods. They love it. Modding allows for creative freedom within GTA itself. And what Take-Two did to modding itself, it's horrible. Just look at the reviews on Steam. It really did cripple the game itself. And a lot of people who want to join the GTA Online and GTA 5 community, they don't want to join simply because of poor communication and simply because they didn't understand, listen, and communicate to the fans. There's also lack of actual customer support from some companies. For example, you have Valve. Now, Valve is amazing with Steam. I love the Steam sales, I love the opportunities, I love the social interaction and all the games. But the thing that really does cripple Valve is simply their customer support. The Better Business Bureau even gave them a bad rating based on their customer support. They don't even have a phone line. The fact that you don't have a phone line and it takes you such a long time to respond back for emails, that's terrible. That's atrocious, actually. And Valve is just a simple example of what not to do with customer support. There are also indie developers that want to grow their company, that want to grow their games, that want to expand and reach a better audience. Well, the way to do that is simply communication. You have to consistently market your product correctly. The best indie games out there are all results from perfect or near perfect communication. You see it with a ton of indie games. And the fact that they were able to join the community together is simply just beautiful. And it's a good thing that's needed for all indie developers. Another part of communication is also names. These days, I have no idea where the marketing team for these companies get these names. The Xbox One X sounds generic. You don't want a generic sounding product, which is going to make your product sound laughable. Then you have a product. Remember the Wii U? Yeah, a majority of consumers thought the Wii U was just a peripheral for the Wii. And Nintendo shot themselves in the foot right there. You see how the Switch is doing? It's a new name, a creative name for a new type of product, an innovative product. And the Switch is doing great things. Nintendo learned their lesson from that. Then you have game names, actually. For example, you have game names such as For Honor or Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces? That sounds not only generic. What type of name is that? It doesn't sound Sonic-like, in all honesty. It doesn't sound like that. It doesn't have that energy. For Honor? There could be a better name for that. A much better name. As I go through all these key points, if you're an indie developer, if you work at a gaming company, or if you're just a gamer, get out there and actually teach people how to effectively communicate in the world of gaming.